We will be using the same DMC 730 to fill in these leaves with the satin stitch. Insert the needle at the top of one of the leaves and make a straight stitch all the way down to the other point of the leaf. Pull your thread all the way through to the back. Bring your needle up on the right hand side, just beyond the pattern line. Make another straight stitch all the way down to the bottom, covering that pattern line. We will come up on the left hand side, pull the thread all the way through, and make a straight stitch down, covering the pattern line. If the shape is symmetrical, your stitching will end up looking like a mirror image. Alternate between right and left sides and continue to fill each of these leaves. Once you have finished each leaf, you want to flip it over and tack down your thread. One way that I do this is I just slide my needle underneath all those worked stitches, and I also like to catch that little knot that was left at the beginning when we first made this stitch. I slide my needle under again, and before I tighten it completely, I get that little knot right there so that I can tack that down and hold it in place. We don't want to have that seam through to the front. We will be using 3 strands of this DMC 729 to fill the center of these 3 flowers at the bottom of our piece. Bring your needle up at the top of the center of this flower, pulling your thread all the way through and making a straight stitch down, inserting the needle just beyond the pattern line. Bring your needle up to the right of that previous work stitch at the top of the middle of our flower. Make a straight stitch down, inserting the needle just beyond the pattern line. Try to keep your stitches nice and straight. Bring your needle up to the left of that first work stitch, pulling the thread through, inserting the needle straight down just beyond the pattern line. Continue alternating sides, doing your best to create a circular shape by making shorter and shorter lengths of straight stitches as you fill the circle. We will be using 3 strands of this DMC 3328 dark pink color. We are still using a satin stitch. Come up at the top of one of the flower petals. Make a straight stitch down right next to the center of the flower. Pull the thread through to the back. Bring the needle up to the right of that first stitch and insert the needle into the same hole as the previous work stitch. Bring the needle up to the left of that first stitch and insert the needle into the same hole as the previous stitches. This will help create an angled look to the flower petal. Bring your needle up to the right of the stitches, just beyond the pattern line, and make a straight stitch down, inserting the needle into the top of the circle. Come up to the left of the previous stitches, just beyond the pattern line, and make a straight stitch down, inserting the needle into the top of the circle. Bring the needle up on the right hand side, inserting the needle into the previous work stitch. Bring the needle up on the left hand side, inserting the needle into the same hole as the previous work stitch. All of the petals will be worked in the same way.